Welcome Doodlers, and today we're going to talk all about the widget tool on the Design Doodler. If you didn't know what the widget tool is, this magic circle right here. We're going to do a bit of an overview on everything it has to offer. In simple terms, the widget tool is what you use to draw on the Design Doodler. This can be done either with a pen, or you can also use your mouse. I'm switching to a mouse right now, and although it's a little bit harder, it works best for when you want to do things like shapes. So if I want to do a square, you can do something like that. We'll get a little bit into that. First things first, how do you access the widget tool? If you go to your right tools, this circle right here with the 6 dots and then the other circles around, you can enable or disable it. So if you don't see it anywhere on your screen, make sure that this little button right here is enabled. The widget tools fall into 4 different categories. That is the steel tool, the calligraphy brushes, the run brushes, and the fill tools. If you press on the brush button right here, it will open up a subsection, and that is where you're able to access all of the other tools. So for example, the tapered ends, the calligraphy, the pressure sensitive, the steel tool, the applique tool, the fill tool, the run bean, and my favorite, the run stitch. When you select one of them, for example the steel tool, it will close the outer circle and you will gain new access to different types of settings. This is the width, so if you press on that circle at the bottom, you can now change the width. So for example, let's say I want a steel shape that is 6 millimeters, then it will create something like that. But if I want the width of 1 millimeter, then I'll press that button and you can see how quickly you're able to change widths on the steel shape. Again, I'm gonna press 3 millimeters and I'm going to create that next shape, and you can see that each one of them has its own width. Next, on the left side, you have the density. So currently it's at 0.4 millimeters, which is a pretty average density for embroidery. But let's say I want to create a really cool shadow effect, or I just don't want it to be so dense. Well, if I hover around the rest, I can see that this one has 2 millimeter density, which will be a lot less dense. That's because of the spacing between each stitch. Let's say 1 millimeter, and let's try 0.6. You can see the different densities on each stitch as well as the width. And the cool thing about the widget tool is that you can mix and match. It's not like you have to stick to one. So for example, let's say I want a 2 millimeter density with a 6 millimeter width. That's easy. I can just select those 2 settings and now I have those 2 densities and widths set up. I'm gonna press 1 to 1. I'm going to highlight everything by pressing this button down here, and I'm going to press X to delete. That tool that we just used is called the steel tool, and under the 4 categories like I mentioned, the applique tool also falls under that same setting. Now I want to show you something really cool, and that is the one part that I didn't mention yet. Let's bring back 2 millimeters and let's put it back to 0.4 because that's the normal density. So if you click on the right, now here's where you can access all of different sorts of shapes. So for example, if you're struggling to create like a straight shape using your free hand, which is this one right here, this is the free draw, it's a lot harder to create a line. So I'm going to undo, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to click line. Now you click and drag and you let go, and that's how you create some really clean lines. Next, if you ensure that this button right here is enabled, you will see a red dot that is here. I will zoom in really quick. You will see a red dot at the end, which prompts you to keep connecting that same shape. So if you want to continue working on that same shape, just ensure that you hover above that same red dot and it will all be under that same shape. That's how you can create some awesome lines. But that's not all. Let's say I want to create a curve, then I can switch to my free draw and I can still use the free draw now and stay under that same shape. I don't know what I was trying to make with that, but that's what it came out to be. All right, again, select everything, delete, and let's change up a color to make it look prettier. Let's do a red. Next, we have a circle. So again, if you want a circle, you can do that. Let's say I want the circle to be thicker, so I'm going to select 6 millimeters, and that is a way thicker circle. Let's say I want it to be 1 millimeter in density, so then I'm going to select the 1 millimeter, and now it shows like that. But let's say I want it to be 2 millimeters. Let's see what that looks like. Nice. And then we can enable or disable the 3D to see the different densities. This is 0.3. I don't think I'd ever use that, but you have the option to do so. Now you can see the difference in densities, and here you can see the difference in the width. Pretty cool, right? Let's go back. And what's the next shape? Well, we have a square. Same thing, square, and you can enable all of the properties. We have a pretty little heart for all of our lovers. Amazing. We have a star, and I feel like for a star we always gotta do yellow. So again, create a star. That's a little too thin. I think I want to do 6 millimeters. Much better. I like that star. We have an arrow. Let's point towards that star. Yep, so people know that that's a star right there. And what else do we have? We have a diamond, which works very similar to a square. That's the steel tool, and the applique tool is very similar. This is when you want to create appliques. You would do something like that. And when you go under the layers, you will see the different appliques that are now set up automatically for you. So I'm going to create another shape, and you will see that it creates the appliques so that you can put your fabrics and set up the appliques. Works exactly the same. I'm going to create a free shape. You can see another one's been made, and I can even create a different color. That way you guys can see how it works. Let me move this to this side, and let's create, what should we do? Let's do an oval. Yeah. See, it does pink, deep rose, and red. That way you can create the first stitch, put your fabric, and then cut it, and then you do the last stitch, which is the one that closes the applique. Pretty simple, really awesome and neat. Delete everything again. Next, what do we got? We got one of my favorite tools, and that is the fill tool. You can see that with the fill tool, we only have the density as well as the different shapes, and that's because with the fill tool, you have the ability to create your own width. So I'm gonna select 0.4, that sounds pretty good, and let's create an awesome shape. What should we do? Let's see, maybe I'm going to create a shoe. You see, it closed the shape at the end. So even if you're, let's say for example, this far apart from the shape, it'll do its best to close. So that's why it's the fill tool. So if I go all the way up here, it's gonna do its best to close and fill that gap. So if you're trying to get a specific shape, just do your best to get as close as possible, but you don't necessarily have to land on top of that end. That's because the program is gonna do a pretty solid job at closing it for you. I'm going to delete so that we have everything clean. And something that's really cool is, we can do the densities, but we can also play around with the shapes. So let's say I want to do a square. I can now do a fill square, which looks something like that. And one of the cool things about the fill, which is one of my favorite tools, is let's say I'm going to create a much smaller square. When you click on that shape and you go under your properties, here not only can you change the density, the stitch length, but you also have the fill pattern. So right now it's currently as pattern 1, which you can change, for example, to pattern 2. It'll change the shape of the fill of the tatami, as well as pattern 3. And if you like a smooth pattern, it can do that. But one of my favorite things is that for smaller shapes, when I want to do a very specific fill, I can switch that to a satin. Now this shape obviously is a little too big, so it's not going to showcase, it's creating the ghost stitches. But if I make it much smaller, then you can see the satin stitch right there, looks smooth. So if I ever want to create something that's a little more complex than just a straight line, then I can do something like that. For those of you that like creating cool shadows and you like to add more effects using the tatami, then you go to traveling route and you switch that to edge. And then for this, I will change the density to 1.2. And this is my favorite way to create shadows for any kind of design that I create. I think the 1.2 with the traveling route on edge, and that's just simply so that you don't see this line. This line, the stitch right here, doesn't really look the most aesthetic, so to avoid that, we go to edge. You can also just click travel on edge, and it'll automatically put it at 1.2. All right, delete. I know I went a little too much into properties. We're gonna go back to the widget. Next, we have the run beam, and the run beam and the run stitch are very similar. The run beam is a stitch style, so I'm going to create a line, and then I'm going to open up the view slow redraw so you see the way that it creates the stitch. So it kind of goes back and forth to create a super solid line throughout the whole design that you create, versus, let's switch to this run and create a line. You can see that the line is a lot more straightforward than the run beam. It's simply two different styles of creating a stitch. You see, it's a lot more forward, and that's it. Each of them serve their purpose depending on the style and the effect that you want to give to your design. I've yet to do the run beam, and that's because I like to grab this single stitch and return it. I think that gives a really solid finish to it, but either way, they're both beautiful stitch styles. Within the run tool, or the run beam, we can also change the shape. So we're gonna go to free draw, we can do a circle, every single shape is available, and you have the length. So for example, right now is under 3 millimeters, but I can set it to be 6 millimeters, and it would look something like that. That means that between each stitch, there is 6 millimeters in spacing. If I want to create something that's 2 millimeters, and normally if you're creating more detailed stuff, you want to use the 2 millimeters. That's because you're able to create more of, like, let's say for example, if I'm going to do a circle right now, it looks something like that. But if I were to use the 6 millimeters, and I try to create that same circle, it does look pretty good, but you get a lot more detail on this one. Just ensure that under the settings, you try to avoid going anywhere under 1 millimeter. After that, it just seems to get a little too dense in my opinion. But again, you have the freedom to experiment and try out what you think works best. So that's a little bit of the run. And the beautiful thing about the run is, let's say I want to grab these two shapes and I decided, you know what, I don't really like the way that it looks with the run. Again, I can go under the properties. On the run style, we have run, double run, which goes one time and returns. And then you also have the bean style. So if you want to switch it to the style that we created at the bottom, and you can set the repeats to 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. That is really cool, gives you a lot of options, and you notice that this program has a lot of secrets that allows you to explore and create many unique designs. I'm going to switch to none, and I'm just going to switch to double run just to see what that looks like. Let me delete these right here, and let's see what that looks like right now. And let's actually set this one up as ace run. Okay, what does this look like? So that's the run, and that's the double run. You guys see what it did? It went one time, two time. So I guess if you want to do it automatically, you can just set it up to be a double run. I really like doing everything manual, but this program does allow you to do a lot of things automatically. All right, that's the run, that's the bean stitch, that's the fill, applique, steal, and now we have the pressure sensitive. So depending on the tablet that you have, this will allow you to add more or less pressure. So let's set it up to 1 millimeter for now because it's a little too wide. And you can see that the more pressure I add to the design, the more width is added to the design. So to the stitch, let's set it up to 2.5. I'm gonna add very little pressure, and then I'm gonna add a lot of pressure, and then I'm gonna let go and slowly let go of that pressure. And you can see the width between these two stitches right here and here are a lot different. So that's the pressure one. Again, you have the width, you have the density. So if I want it to be super spaced out, let's see. looks something like that. Changes in width. Now here we have the calligraphy 145, and we have the tapered ends. The tapered ends, it kind of makes it so that the two ends are very smooth, and it's really nice. What I can do is I can switch the width to 4mm so that it's easier to see. You can see both ends on the tapered ends look smoother, and that's so that if you don't want your ends to just, for example, when I go to steel, I'm going to create that same shape. The ends just kind of end like that. They end just like very abruptly, whereas if you go to the tapered ends, it'll smooth them out on both sides. And that's if you want to create some of those shapes that have a very smooth or round finish. Now for the tapered ends, you can go under properties, and here same thing, you can change the stitch width, the density, but you can also set up the start and end or both. So if I just want it to be a normal satin, then I can do that. If I want the tapered end from the start, if I want it from the end, or if I want both. They have the angle type, which is fixed, orthogonal, and then we have a bunch of commands that are available as well as transform. Now, a cool thing though about a steel tool, if you select the satin shape and you go under properties right here, the start line cap is currently set at standard, but you can change it to rounder, and the stop line you can also change it to rounded. So just like the tapered ends, you can also do the same thing here, and you have different settings. So for example, I want it at a 45, and then I want this at a 135. You have different options to create the styles. Select everything and delete. And then we have the last tool, which I've yet to really test out myself. With the calligraphy, we have two settings. We have the density and the width. 2mm, 2.5. So I'm gonna stick to 2mm, and I'm gonna do 0.6. And let's see what happens if we create a line. Let me zoom in really quick. It creates that style. So it's a satin or steel stitch, but it seems like the angle switches. So if I create something like that, one of the shapes disappears. So I guess with calligraphy, you just have to be careful about the angle. Let me select this shape, which is still complete. I'm gonna go under properties, and again, I'm just going to change the angle. And you can see that depending on the angle, you'll either end up trimming those stitches or you'll unite all of them. So I think for this one, it makes more sense to have it at angle 0 degrees or at 360 degrees, which is kind of the same thing. Same thing with these. You can play around with the angles. You can change the fix to this style, so orthogonal. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. And you can change the angles of the pen tool. Overall, with the calligraphy tool, it seems like if you already want to have those settings with the angles enabled and at a very specific angle, then you play around with that to create that desired effect. And I believe we've gone through most, if not all, of the tools. And that is how you utilize the tool widget. Now, I know that showing you guys how to use each one of them, you're kind of like, like what did you make? That's why we have other tutorials where we show you how to put all of these tools and properties and settings together for the best results and to create really awesome designs. So if you guys haven't seen those tutorials yet, make sure to go watch them next and see the power of the Design Doodler. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Doodlers, leave down any questions you have in the comments and watch those videos next. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, guys.